Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another exciting design tutorial with UXMate. Today we would be focusing on basics of animation in Figma because it is kind of very interesting topic. Lots of people are interested in doing animations but they cannot do it because they don't know the core concepts of animation, they don't know core principles of the animation, and even if they know, even if they are animating in some other tools, Figma has some limitations to do animations, and still we can do very complex animations as well. Literally we can do character animations as well in Figma, but it will take a lot of efforts to do it because Figma is not a dedicated tool for animation. Still, if you try to break down what animation is, if you try to understand what animation is, then you would be able to cheat uh, a little bit in Figma, and then you would be able to create animations in the Figma itself. So let's see how it basically works. By the way, if you try to break down animation, like if you try to define animation, so basically animation is nothing but a method by which still figures are manipulated to appear as moving images. Because how it works, our eyes can only retain an image for approximately 1/10 or 1/12 of seconds, and if we try to move image, if we try to move that image before that fraction of second, our brain tries to, like, our brain process it as a moving image. So let's try to jump into the Figma and let's try to create a simple animation to understand what animation is. So let's create a frame, no matter what it is. Let's have an object in the frame, and then probably let's have a circle with a little bit arc, or a donut chart or a pie chart, you can say. So things which you need to remember in animation, specifically in the Figma, is whenever you are doing animations you would be needing multiple frames. You can do it either within the frames, you can do it either within the components. Doing it in components is much easy because when you want to edit animation, you have to do it in one single instance and it would be updated in all other instances wherever your component has been used. Now as of now, let's just focus on the frames, and then with the time we would be doing complex animations in the components as well. Second most important thing which you have to remember is the naming structure. Whatever names you are giving to your objects, those should be similar in all of the frames where you want to do animations. So let's take this smiley, or like whatever you want to call it, eating face. Take this as an example and let's see what it does with the animation. So what I'll be doing, I'll be just rotating this object a little bit, and so now what I have ellipse 1 in my frame 1, I have ellipse 1 on my frame 2. So let me create a prototype between these two, a wire between these two. And what I'll be doing, you can keep it on click as of now, or you can do it after delay as well. Let's do it on click as of now, and then do a smart animate as an animation option. Let's keep it linear as of now. Let's have 800, or let's say 1 second for now. So it will take 1 second to rotate this object at this particular angle. So if we see in our properties, it has angle as a 0, and in our next frame it has minus 60 degrees. So let's try to play this prototype. Okay, it doesn't have a starting point. Let me add a starting point and let me play it. So I have to click on it because our instance is on our interaction is on click. So whenever I click on it, it is rotating. Now let's try to change the name. As I mentioned, let's try to change the name here. Instead of ellipse 1, I'll say ellipse 1 2. And now let's try it again. So now if you see, it is not rotated. Still there is animation, but this animation is a disappearing, or it is a crossfade animation. So it is fading one object into another. Let me explain this with the colors. Let me just change the color here, so you will understand what I'm trying to tell. So let's have red here, and then let's have blue here, for example. And now let's try to play this animation. So now if you see, you'd be seeing a transition between red to blue, because it is a crossfade or a dissolve animation. So one object is dissolving into another object. In VFX or in animation, we call it as morphing as well. So we morph one object into another object, but Figma doesn't support morphing as other tools like After Effects or Nuke or any other like 3D modeling tools like Maya or 3ds Max, Blender. So let's try to again rename this, and let's have it again ellipse 1, and now it should be a smooth transition between these two objects. Okay, so why it is a smooth transition between these two objects? These are not two different objects. These are it is nothing but one single object. Okay, one single object placed on this page like this, and placed on this page like in an angle. So we are not changing the object. That's why having the same names is important, because we want to animate this object, and that's why we want to perceive the same name in all of the frames. Then and then only it will work as expected. So if you see, like we have two different frames but the same object on the two different frames, and that's why if you see the difference is only in the rotation property of the object, and that's why it is animating the rotation property. So what it is doing, it is taking 0 as initial point of my rotation. Okay, let me quickly draw it a timeline kind of thing here. So let's say it is your 0th second. Let me just scale it up a little bit. So this is my 0th second, and this is my 1st second. Okay, and it is divided into you can say 1000 milliseconds, or you can say let's have hundreds. 1 2 3 sorry 4 5 6 7 8 9. Let me just distribute them. So this is your timeline. So this is 0th second, this is 1st second. It is 0th millisecond, it is 1000th millisecond. So it travels like 1 2 3 4 5 6 like this. It will be go to the 100, 200, 300, 400, 600, 700, 800, 900, and then I guess we have an extra line, but yeah, then we have 1000. So what it does, it keeps gradually changing the rotation degree. So let me do degree here, like it is a 0 degree, and then it is a negative 60 degree. So what it is doing, it is changing the degree, it is changing the angle of rotation from 0 to negative 60 in 1000 milliseconds, or in 1 second. And how it is doing, it is gradually changing it. It will like do it 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree, like this. It will do it up to negative 60 degrees angle. So we call it as a time graph for animation. Then if you try to change the graph between these two elements, like these two frames, as of now we have a linear progression, right? So linear is it will gradually grow so linear means it will gradually go in a straight line. It will not deviate anything, the speed or the value over the period of time, because it is a linear progression. Now if I do it a ease in curve, now now if you see, there is a little bit deviation in the curve. So now how it will be doing, it will be 0, and let's say it would be, it is ease in, right? So it would be, let's say, like 50 minus 50 at this point of time, and then after this particular point of time, wherever your curve has that bend. So let me try to create that curve here quickly. like this. So I'll not be precise with the curve here because we'll be dedicatedly having a section on the animation curves, because those are very important, one of the very important aspect in the animations. So let's say this is what my ease in curve is, like ease out curve is. So how it is doing, it is going on a linear fashion at certain point of time, let's say this particular point in the timeline, and then it is slowly going towards the negative 60 degrees. So 0 to minus 50 will be linear, or it will be a little bit fast, and then when it is 50 to 60, like if you see, it is taking almost, it is almost taking equal amount of time to reach rotation from 0 to negative 50 and from negative 50 to 60 degrees. So that's why it is a little bit easing. So it is easing out. Let's try the animation, how it is looking. Let me click on the object. So now if you see, it slowly proceeded, it gradually moved at certain point of time, and then it suddenly it was easing out. Did we had ease in or ease out? Let me just check. So we are ease in, sorry. So ease in is, it is going in a slow speed at this particular point of time, and then it would be gradually go to the so ease in is from the, like how do we calculate in or out? In is your starting point, out is your ending point of animation. So when we say ease in, it will slowly start the animation, and ease out is it will slowly finishes the animation. So if you see, there is a curve ease in, ease out. So in this case, it will slowly start animating slowly, like it will slowly pick up the speed, and then again it will be go at a max number of speed, and then again it will slow down to 0. So now let's test this ease in, ease out animation. So if you see, let me do it a little bit, instead of 1 second, let me do it 3 seconds. So you will have some oops, I did 3 milliseconds. So we'll have at least some visibility over the animation. So now if you see, but yeah, don't worry, at this point of time about the graphs, we'll be having a separate session or separate video on the animation and the graphs. But as of now, what you have to remember from this tutorial is, you need to keep object name same in all of your frames, no matter how many frames you create. Okay, so that is point 1. Now let's see how we can do it automatically. So what we have did as of now, we have did the animation on click of this particular object. So instead of on click, I'll be doing after delay, and I'll be having let's say if I want to start the animation immediately as soon as this frame loads, I'll be having it as a 1 millisecond. And now let me restart it. Okay, see, it will slowly start spinning because we have duration of 3 seconds. It will take 3 seconds to complete this rotation. Let me increase the rotation angle a little bit more, and now let's see how it works. So if you notice the animation here, it starts slowly, it takes a little bit speed, and then it again gradually ends up at the with the ease. So just to explain this behavior, let me do one thing. Let me just scale it a little bit. I'll try to match the scale as well. Oh sorry, I'm in prototype. There might be a little deviation in the scale as well because we have changed the scale, but let me just create a copy of this or I don't know how we'll be doing, but we need to do it in a component. So yep, let me just create a component out of it, and then I'll be showing a difference between ease in, ease out and a linear progression, so you'll be able to relate with it very quickly. Let me just frame this selection, and let me add a let me convert this to a component. Let me add a property for variant, and then I'd be adding one more variant to this. Let me change the ellipse rotation, and I'll be doing the animation in my variant. After delay 1 millisecond, I'm keeping 3 milliseconds as it is, what we have in our above animation, but instead of ease in ease out, I'm doing a linear progression. And I'd be doing it again, like to just to keep on looping, but yeah, let's not do it now. Let me just also let me change the color of this object. Let me do it in opposite way. Let's say it will start with the blue and it will end in the reddish thing. Let me bring in the component here, just scale it down. Sorry, I guess that will also not work because we are transitioning from one frame to another frame. So let's create a copy of this component, and in this copy let's just again change the color from pink to, let's say, blue, and in this component we'd be doing a after delay linear with ease in and out. Now let me delete everything from here. Yes, everything. And then let me just create a frame. Let me use the same frame which I have here. I'll just bring in my components in the frame. So I have component 1, component 2. Let me just put some titles here with ease. So this one is with ease. Okay. Now let's see how it goes when we play the prototype. So now you'd be seeing the difference, right? On the right hand side, animation is completed a little bit early. If you see the variation in the angle, you will realize, okay, what it is doing, how this easing is working on. Let me do one thing. Let me just have same colors to all of the objects, so it will not have that dissolve effect, and then you'll be able to relate with the object quickly. See, we can also try to change the easing. Instead of, let's say, ease in ease out, let's do it as a custom base here. So in the custom curve, so if you see this, it is a ease in then ease out. Let's just do it a little bit ease out curve only, but with little bit exaggeration to it. And now let's try to test this animation. See the difference. It has completed a little bit, this one is completed a little bit early, this is keep on animating because it is on the linear progression. Okay, so I guess I will not go into much details of this as of now. So what you would be taking from this lesson or from this video is, make sure you are keeping the same name in all of the objects, and then you would be animating its properties like scale, rotation, color. Okay, and you would be practicing these small animations, and then we would be covering in our next lesson I would be putting about the advanced animation. So we'd be doing animation like animating these leaves kind of thing, or we'd be jumping into a little bit of complex animation where we can create infographics and animate those infographics within the Figma itself without using any other third-party plugin. Okay, so yeah, that's all for the day, guys. Stay tuned, subscribe, share, and don't forget to comment out your doubts, because that would be very important aspect while learning. So if you have any doubts, feel free to comment them, because then and then only I'd be able to understand what doubts you are having, and then only I'd be able to create videos to solve those doubts, rather than just learning something with the doubts. That will not make you perfect ever. So just be sure to write your doubts. Don't hesitate to write your doubts. Okay, yep, have a good day ahead. Bye guys.